Hello everyone, my name is Ravi, and here is the day 6 of the free IAM session on Ping Federate. In today's topic, we will be covering how to integrate an application using SAML. Here we'll be using Salesforce as one of the sample application, and Okta will be one of our identity provider. I'm just trying to showcase you how to integrate an application, but gradually as we move towards Ping, we'll also cover how we perform the same thing on Ping as an ID. In the previous session, we discussed about the SAML integration, the SAML theoretical. Here we are going to demonstrate that to you, and you can also set up your own SAML application and try it out. Please do comment down in the section if you have any queries, questions, and we will try to address them in the upcoming videos. Thank you.
Okay, Pranay, can you log out and let's walk us through the process of creating a Salesforce developer account first, and then we'll do the
Okay, sure. Shall I create a new one?
I just open a new tab and create a new Salesforce developer account. So if anyone is not aware, they'll know how to create the account.
Yes, actually, I'm new into this, so it will definitely help.
Yeah, we'll start from the beginning. Salesforce.
Thanks.
Go to you can click on the developer edition. Okay, and from there it will redirect you to the trial page. So you should land up. Pranay, can you copy the URL and paste it on the chat?
Sure.
Copy this and paste it in the chat. And we will be using Mailinator for this to create our account. So I hope everyone is aware about Mailinator, why we use Mailinator.
It is used to create email IDs
just for testing purposes.
Testing and development. Yeah.
Okay, Pranay, go ahead and create a test account in Salesforce. You can give any name, and as we can create IAM. Yeah. Create admin@mailinator.com or IAM admin@mailinator.com. You can give any company name. You don't have to give any verified company. You can give anything and just create an account. Your username should be your email. So give your email address 6619@mailinator.com. Click on I agree and then sign me up. So after creating the account, you should be receiving an email, and it generally takes around 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to get the verification email from Salesforce. It is usually slow. So you'll have to wait for 10 minutes. Scroll up, Pranay, scroll up. Okay, it takes time. Okay, it is processing the entire thing. Scroll down. So this is the process. Okay, click on sign me up. Click on sign me up. Okay, you already have a username. Change the email address and username. Just make it admin661@19 @gmail.mailinator, and over here also make it. Now do sign up. I think you again have a similar account. That is the reason it is taking. So if you have a account that has been created with the same email, yeah, I think that is the same error.
That is the same. But don't have an account with this email. This is some Salesforce error.
You're already using the user. Change it. Just give a random. Just 666. Yes.
Shubhankar, how many days of trial we get from Salesforce?
You can keep it like till forever, but you have to use it regularly, okay, or else the account gets locked. You have to use it on a frequent basis. So generally it takes 10-15 minutes time, and since this is a developer account, it takes more time to get the account created. So initially when we started, it didn't used to take so much time to create the account. But this is the process, okay? This is the general process of getting your account set up. You can use your Gmail address as well. You can go to temp email and create a temporary email and use that also. So it depends, okay, whatever you want to use. But this is the process. Pranay, I think this should be it. Okay. If anyone has any
Let
problem
me use this.
with creating the account, reach out to us and we'll help out. Pranay, log into your account, Salesforce.
Okay, sure. Just give me a moment.
Log into your account and then we'll start the SSO configurations. Where is your Okta?
I have my Okta code.
Is Okta available?
Still not working. Yeah,
Are
this
you
is my
able to
Salesforce account.
log in? Go to your Okta admin console.
I have it.
Clear your like sessions and everything and then try to.
Okay.
Okay, so now in order to create an application, see on the left hand side, you'll see there are several tabs or options. Click on applications. And so there are two ways of creating an application inside Okta. One, you have a app catalog, like you have inbuilt connectors that you can use. So if you look at the browse app catalogs, Pranay, can you click on that? Browse app catalogs. You have, you'll see we have several predefined connectors created by Okta, like around 7,000 application connectors are there. We can use these things, we can use these connectors and create the SSO connection. Okay? And there is also another way. Run, if you go back once. So we can also create a custom application, like without using any connector, we can click on create app integration and we can choose the protocol, be it OIDC, SAML, SWA, or API services. We can go ahead and create a SAML configuration or any configuration. Okay, cancel this. So for this session, we will be using the existing template that we have. So click on browse app catalog and select Salesforce. Select
So Shubhankar, I think so. Most of the applications we can find it out on the catalog.
Yeah, most of the time, yes, 99% of the time you'll find something. But the custom app integrations, so when we do OAuth and OIDC applications, so generally those applications you'll not find in the app catalog. Okay, because these are like most of the time, like the OIDC and OAuth are custom applications that will be made by your organization. Okay, so you'll not find them in the app catalog. So for that, we use the custom integration part.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see with this connector, we have it supports SAML. It supports for provisioning of users. It supports skim provisioning protocol. Okay. Now click on add integration, Pranay. Okay. So this instance, we will be using it as our production instance. Check if the sale point. Please, if the check if the sale point IIQ app. Yeah, we'll check once we are done with Salesforce. We will check with sale point IIQ.
Okay, thank you.
So for custom domain, okay. Now, Pranay, go to your Salesforce tenant. In the Salesforce tenant, search for go to setup. Yeah, go to setup.
Hi, Shubhankar. I have
Yes.
a question. You told only SAML integrations are there in pre-built OIN network. Like, why? Is there any specific reason OIDC or
OIDC connections are also there, okay, but it is very less. So with for OIDC and OAuth, what happens is, as per my experience, most of these applications are inbuilt, like your in-house applications. Okay? So you do not have a vendor-specific vendor or a third-party application that you use. There are examples of like OIDC third-party application, like MoveWorks. I was like recently working on that. So
Mhm.
so that is there, but most of the time, like 90% of the time, they will be like in-house applications. Okay. So for that, we use the custom app integrations.
Okay. And also, I think this question is very high. What's the difference between SAML and OIDC? Maybe we can take it up later, but then just
Yeah, I'll cover that during the differences.
Okay.
So just to give you a background, sorry, I usually do that for people who have joined in. So we started our journey covering the IAM fundamentals for a couple of 4 to 5 days. Then we moved on to the access management side. And under access management, we discussed about some of the other best practices, and then we uh, went into SAML. So this setup that we are currently doing is not about Okta. Okay, again, you are learning this while you are configuring it, but I know there are a lot of moving parts in Okta, so this will only help you understand how SAML works and will enable you to configure your first SAML application. Okay, and
okay.
we'll also check the backend, how you can troubleshoot a SAML app, all of that. And even if you don't know Okta, that is absolutely fine, because once we are done with integrating a SAML-based application using Okta, and yesterday we did it with the test app, today is Salesforce, then we'll do ServiceNow. We'll move on to OpenID Connect, OAuth and OpenID. Again, we'll do theory. And yes, we did theory first and then we did this. I'll anyway share, I'm sharing day 1, day 2 videos. I'll share the day 4, 5, 6 tomorrow. Anyone wants to do it reverse, will do 6 first and then 5. That is also okay, because that'll help you understand the coming sessions better. Okay. So yesterday was 7th session, today is the 8th session, tomorrow 9th. And I'll share the videos till 6th, which covers what is SAML in theory. This is practical. Then we'll do next week OAuth, OpenID Connect, all theory, different grant types, everything. Then we move on to lab. And once we are done with that, the protocol part, you guys are confident, then we will start with the tool. And the tool that we are going to cover first is Ping Federate. Okay. Eventually, we'll do all SAML OAuth integration in that tool. And once that tool is done, then we go to Okta, where we start Okta from the beginning. Okay. It's a very lengthy ongoing process, but that is how the whole thing would unfold gradually. This is just SAML integration that we are trying to demonstrate. And you can also do it parallelly.
Yep.
And, and for custom app integrations, I'll help you with creating your own app, and then we will be using single sign-on for that app, like for protecting that application as well, like for a custom app that we will create, like in our labs. So that is also there. Coming back to Salesforce, Pranay, can you search for my domain?
Yes, yes.
Search for my domain. And if you hear background music at my end, then apologies for that. There is a function going. Click on my domain. So over here, we will be taking our my domain name. So Pranay, copy the my domain name, the my mi78 dev ed. So we'll copy it up to here and paste it in our Okta tenant. So copy this and go to your Okta on your right. Yep. Paste your, yes. Now scroll down. Scroll down and click on next. Click on next. So here we will be selecting our protocol. So we have something called a secure web authentication. This is generally, this is something that Okta uses, like for some in-house applications or some applications that do not support the modern authentication protocols. And this is not very safe. So we generally don't use it. So we'll go ahead with our SAML. Click on SAML 2.0. And if you scroll down, click on view SAML setup instructions. Okay. Now go to your Salesforce. And on the Salesforce side, search for single sign-on settings. Okay. So now here you have multiple things. First, click on edit on the single sign-on settings tab. You see there is edit. So if you have a new tenant, what you have to do is you have to enable the SAML. Okay. So initially when you are configuring this, SAML will not be enabled. So you have to enable this and save this, Pranay. Okay. So now we have to create a new configuration. Okay. So now when you try to create new configuration, there are three options. You have new from metadata file and new from metadata URL. Okay. So I think I said this yesterday also. There are three ways of adding the details in any IDP. You can either add it manually, you can add it using a metadata file, or you can use a metadata URL. The safest thing is always to use a metadata URL. The first reason being, so with metadata URL, so we also use certificates, right? So whenever your certificate is going to expire, and if you're using a metadata file, then you'll have to manually change the certificates or rotate the certificate. But on the ping side, this is what I've seen is, if you're using a metadata URL, and once you rotate the certificate on your end, the certificate rotation will automatically happen on the application side as well. Okay. So generally the metadata URL is preferred. So we will be going with that itself. So Pranay, click on metadata URL. Now go to your SAML setup instructions. Scroll, no, go to your Okta tenant. Go to your Okta tenant. Yes. Copy the metadata URL and go to.
Bro, it is SP side or IDP side?
What? So we are trying to configure, right? Salesforce is our SP, right? So we are trying to add the details of the IDP on the SP side, right?
Okay, okay, got it.
Copy this URL, Pranay, and copy this. Now try to paste it over there in the tab in Salesforce. This one. Click on create. Okay, so this is a expected error. Okay, because what we have to do is, Pranay, go to remote site settings. Go to remote site settings. The second one. Here we have to add that URL in order for it to load. So click on new remote site on the top, new remote site. Give any name, give name as Salesforce or Okta, whatever you want. And paste your URL. Yes. Click on save. Yes. We will be mostly configuring. Okay. Remove the underscore or whatever extra details that you have. No, the name, remote site name. Error is over there. So yes, Harish, mostly whatever the setting on the SP side will be done by the application team. Like the Salesforce team will configure all of this on their end. But at times what happens is the application owners, they are not much familiar with IAM and what all they have to do. So you have to step in and help them out with whatever configurations you have to do. Okay, you have to help them on their side as well. Okay. And on the IDP side, on the IDP side, you have to do it and then proceed. Pranay, save this. Did you save this?
Yes, Waka, it's done.
Okay. Yes. Now again now go to again single sign-on settings and try to use update using metadata URL.
Hyphen it won't allow or what?
Sorry?
That hyphen it won't allow or what?
That hyphen it won't allow. So there are particular ways in which you can set things up. Click on create.
Okay.
Once we use the metadata URL, all the details were auto-populated. Okay? So it saves us time and it removes that human error part of the thing. Okay, if you try to add things manually, you might miss out on few things. So it removes that part. Okay. So now Pranay, go to your SSO setting from the Okta side, download the Okta certificate and upload it over here. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. And if you see on the SAML setup instructions, it has mentioned everything, whatever you have to do. Okay. So if you follow that document also, you will be able to configure this. Download the certificate.
Shubhankar, the information that has been populated, that is with the help of metadata that we have extracted from.
Yes, the IDP metadata. Okay.
But we have copied only the domain URL, not domain URL.
The
Actually, we have
metadata.
copied
We
Okay,
are just
metadata.
using the URL. So metadata can be present in different forms. Okay, you can have a metadata file, you can have a metadata URL, and you. So what happens is most of the time when you're using a metadata file, okay, not metadata file, if you're trying to fill the details manually, like you copy everything and go one by one, there is a chance that you might miss out on few things, on few important things, and that might again lead to authentication errors. So in order to avoid that, it is always the best practice to use either a metadata file, and this file will be shared by your application team. Okay, and this, so whenever you are having a meeting with them, you can always ask for either a metadata file or a metadata URL.
Yeah, and then again, just to add here, sometimes application team, even if you export a metadata file, they won't be able to upload them. So in that case, it's again, they will be preferring to do a manual copy, but it all depends on the application capability. If your application can use the metadata file and they can also use it, best is just export, send it to them. If your app cannot do it, you have to manually copy paste it, that there is no other way. But the only thing that it avoids is these manual errors when you're actually copy pasting these URLs, because that could again lead to a long list of or long hours of you troubleshooting and identifying during the initial app integration itself. Sometimes, for example, here you may miss the 7, right, on the name. So you really cannot, it's very difficult sometimes to understand that you have missed that 7 and you keep on trying and it fails. That is one of the main reasons for you to use metadata during the entire exchange of data.
All right, I got it.
Yeah, and one common error, not it is very uncommon, like highly unlikely. So whenever you get a metadata from the application team, so sometimes what can happen is the metadata will not be accepted by the ID. Okay, so there, because of some reason, but most of the time it is because the certificate that the SP is sending in the metadata, that has expired or it has some problems. Okay, so always double check whatever the validity of the certificate that they are sending in the metadata. Does that make sense?
Yes, actually, Shubhankar, when I was working into the CA side manager, so we were uploading the metadata directly into the admin console in XML format.
Yeah, it
Okay.
happens. Yeah, even on the ping side, you upload it in XML format, but I've encountered several cases where the metadata had some problem and I had to remove some things in order to make it work, tweak it a little bit, or ask for a new metadata file. Okay, so any further questions? I'll take that as a no.
No, Shubhankar.
Okay. Yes. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and save this. So now what we have to do is we have to take the login URL from here, login and logout URL, and use that as and use this in our Okta tenant. So Pranay, copy the login and logout URL. The login. Go to your Okta tenant. Yes. And paste it over here. Okay. Now here we do not have to change anything. Okay. The application username format will be Okta username because Salesforce expects the user, like the user details, to be in the form of email address. So we are going to keep it like that. So we'll click on done. Is it done? Now, now the next thing is, so there are two more things that we can do. Okay. So one is provisioning. We can do provisioning, but with provisioning, it takes around 30 to 45 minutes since this is a free account and it will take a lot of time just to activate provisioning. So we'll take it up some other time. But right now, what we'll do is we will assign the applications. So Pranay, go to assignments and I'll explain how provisioning would happen. Click on assign and assign it to your admin account. If you have any, assign it to your admin account. Yep. For rotating the sort, are there any beside best?
Yeah, so when you're rotating a certificate, right, the first thing that you should manage is the timeline. That is the most important thing. Now, what do you mean by timeline is when you are integrating or when you are rotating a certificate, okay? And imagine you got the notification, you have, say, 1 month. The best thing is to start immediately, or best practice is to always set up notifications configured for 3 months, because you may be configuring a lot of applications. So 8 to 10 application or even more than that could be certs could be expiring at the same time. Okay, so imagine if 15 certification is expiring and you got a notification a month before, definitely there will be a challenge. You will not be able to cover all of this. And on top of it, imagine if the application team is on holiday. Okay, then done. You are done for the day, because that's not something that you'll be able to adjust. Okay, so first best practice is always make sure you have a notification set on each connections, which will tell you when the certificate is expiring. That is the first thing, and it should be set up mostly 3 to 4 months before, so that you will really need to connect, talk to application owners, understand them. Okay, so that is one. Second, when you're coordinating, okay, because here certificate will expire on lower environment as well as on the upper environment. Okay, so you have to take care of that. Now, in order for you to update the certificate, make sure you have a updated repository of the application team. Even if the certificate expires, say after 1 year, 2 year, you got a good notification, which is alerting you in 3 months before, right? But what if your database is not updated? You don't have application teams contact. Whom will you get in touch with? People are using the application. And I have been in a situation like this where I see 10 people are using the application. Again, daily they are using the application, 10. But if I'm going and talking to them, no one says that they are managing. So how will you go and change? No one has admin access. This is some vendor. You don't have the contact of the vendor. So these are some of the challenges that you face. So contact, notification, and again and around certificate rotation. Before you rotate, make sure you have if it is a signing certificate, it is preferred to have a self-signed certificate. Don't always use SSL certificate, because you'll have to rotate it every 1 year. Okay, so primarily these are the main three things that you can use in order to facilitate that your rotation becomes smooth.
And we are talking about both SP and IDP signing certificates here, right? When we say certificate rotation.
We are talking about the IDP rotation. SP, because again, if I'm looking from IAM engineer perspective, I am primarily responsible for rotating the IDP certificate. Okay, hence I will put appropriate measures. Now, yes, I will also be a part of the SP certificate rotation, but the control is not with me, and the SP will always have someone, right, on the IDP side from a contact perspective to get in touch. But there also, you can tell the SP that to reach out to you 2, 3, maybe a month before, at least 20 days before. But most of the time, I've seen the IM team always ready in order to manage or do all these changes, so it won't be a problem. But the challenge comes when you're trying to contact the service provider. That is where the main challenge lies, because you need to find the right contact. Again, you don't know what the process is on their side. And another thing, when you're rotating the certificate, please make sure you are doing all of this by keeping a good amount of downtime. Although it's a very quick change, it may not take much time for 70-80% of the applications. Some applications, they'll have a server on the back end. They have to install the certificate on each server, so that may take some time. But having a good amount of time, a rollback plan, right? And another thing is, when you're rotating the certificate, please don't extract or remove the old. add the new and delete or do whatever. Don't do that. Always have a backup of that and test that on a stage environment. Test in the sense, test the backup plan. That means you take
I
the
believe
old certificate.
we have option in Ping Federate for vendor application also, like 90 days, 60 days, 30 days. Then we can keep that option, I believe.
On what? On notification, Nrsimha?
Yeah, notification, exactly.
Yes, you can keep those notifications. Ping
Yeah.
allows you that.
Yeah.
So
In Okta
yes,
also, same feature is there.
Okta also they have feature. Yeah, notification you can set up in
Okay.
Okta also. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, from a failover perspective, always make sure you're testing the same failover. That means you're extracting the old certificate, importing the new certificate, testing it. If it does not work, immediately removing the new and adding the old, and also checking that should also function properly. Once all of that is tested, you have a backup plan and you have the implementation plan, then only go to prod. Okay. These are some of the different ways in which you can use. And next question. IDP and SP certificate should be same for the connection. No, Shiva, IDP has its own certificate, SP has its own certificate. So the certificate will be exchanged with each other. So certificate will never be same. SP will have a separate certificate that will be exchanged with IDP and vice versa.
I think Siva,
and the certificate should be configured at IDP side, and SP certificate should be configured at IDP side, and IDP one is at SP side, right?
Yes, it should be exchanged of
yeah,
certificate.
vendor will provide a public certificate to us. How we are providing our public certificate to vendor, same vice versa.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Narasimha. Login URL is same as ACS URL of Salesforce. Salesforce, Shubhankar, what was the URL? I'm not sure what was presented there, if it was same or not. Login and ACS.
Which URL are we talking about?
Login. So there is a question on the chat. Login URL is same as ACS URL.
Go back to general tab once. Anna, what is this blue mark?
Yeah. What just happened?
And SAML certificate and the explain will be retrieved with an API call. Yeah, with Okta we can. Okay, which URL are you talking about? Scroll down. Go to.
Can anyone please disable this annotation? Narasimha?
Oh, sorry.
Click on sign on. This login and logout URL? Yes. This is the ACS URL of your Salesforce SP. Is anyone annotating the screen? I'm not sure.
Yeah, there is someone is drawing something. So if you can remove that.
No, I'm trying to disable that. Not sure where I.
No, that's fine.
I got control. I am not sure.
No issue. Okay, so this is the ACS URL of your Salesforce. Now go back. Pranay, did you do the assignment?
Yes, Shubhankar.
Okay, so now let's try the SSO connection. Open your dashboard.
Okay, sure.
Your dashboard on the 4 square boxes. We can do it on incognito as well. Save it. And do you have SAML tracer enabled? Like add that.
Yes, Shubhankar, I have it.
Not now. Pause it for now. BitLock. Click on sign in. Shoot directly. So as I was saying, click on the dashboard. On the 4 square boxes, Click on my end user dashboard. Yes. Close that. So you see, we have a Salesforce application setup. So now, and if you notice in Pranay's like dashboard and even in the admin console, the setting or the branding is a bit different. Okay. So this is red color or at the back end. Pranay, if you can go back to your login screen once.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Don't log out. I'll show that later.
Just
But
clicked it.
you already did. So you see the sign in button is different. The background is different. So Okta allows us to customize the entire interface, okay, the entire front end of the Okta admin UI. So we can customize this, and we will be covering that as well as part of the process. So yeah, Pranay, log in again, or that should have been. If you refresh, you would have been logged out.
Yeah.
Log in again, and then we'll do the SSO. Now enable SAML tracer and try to do a SSO connection. How to get access? Yeah, you can create a free access, a free account, developer account. Minimize this and yes, let's see. We should land to Okta, to Salesforce. So we were sent to IDP. So now pause this. Pause this. So now the reason we are getting this error is the user that is trying to access Salesforce. Okay. It does not exist it does not exist on the Salesforce side. So right now, like most of that, I've worked on this for a long time, so I know the exact error. So mostly if you go to your Okta Salesforce users, Pranay, go back to Salesforce and check on users. So you see there is a user called Pranay Chetri, and what was the user with which you were trying to log in, Pranay?
That is user 2.
That is
His
user.
name was user 2.
So that user does not exist over here. Okay. So if I do not exist over here, so I don't have access to this application, right? So now if I don't have access to the application and I try to authenticate against this, so I'll get that SSO error. Okay. So what we have to do is, which you have to like make sure that the user with which you're trying to log in, they have their account set up on the Salesforce side. Okay. If that is not there, then you'll end up with the SSO error. Okay. Does that make sense? Any questions, queries?
So Shubhankar, you are saying the same user should exist at the IDP and the SP end.
Yes.
So can we create a new user and at the both ends and we can validate it?
Yeah, we can do that, but there is a different way to do. So as I was talking, we have an option of doing provisioning. So with provisioning, what will happen is whenever you're trying to access this application, the users would be created on the Salesforce side like simultaneously. So on the fly, when you're trying to access Salesforce, the user will be created. Okay. But that takes time because we are using a free account and it takes around 30-45 minutes to just set up provisioning. So that is the reason I wanted to avoid it for now. Okay, Pranay, let's try to create our user over here. Or do you have this Pranay Chetri account on the Okta tenant?
Yeah, I have it. Let me check it. Because
if you don't have it, can you please create the
tenant?
Yes, just-in-time provisioning. Yes, we'll enable just-in-time provisioning.
But I have this user. Let me. This is
user one.
User 1 is there.
User 1 is there. Then let's try with user 1. But still, create your Pranay Chetri account also if it is not there. No, it's not there.
No, it's not there. Okay, create an account.
So Shubhankar, there must be some common thing from we are creating user at IDP and Okta end, and we are creating same user at the SP end. So there must be some similarity, common thing that the user will be identified.
Yeah, so that is for that reason, in order to identify the user, we send attributes. We send attributes like a first name, email address to identify the user.
Okay.
And wait, okay, for a while. So on the Okta side, we have something called a universal directory. And in the universal directory, you can create users, delete users, create groups. We will be covering that as well as part of our future sessions. But in general, this is how you create a user on Okta side, okay? And you can also set your passwords for the user. So Pran, activate this user and then it's save. Okay, and let's try to log in again. Assign the user this application, the Salesforce application.
Okay, the Salesforce, do you want me to set up the email as it is in the Salesforce, this one?
No, I'm saying assign the user, right? You have to assign the application to the user you created, right?
No, I got that.
The email address should be the same. Whatever you have on the Salesforce side, it should be the same.
No, I just created another with another email. That's what I was asking.
No, everything should be the same, or else again we'll end up with the SSO.
Let me create one.
So you go to directory. I'll walk everyone through the process. There is directory and there is people. If you want to add a user, you'll click on add person, and then you'll just add whatever details are needed. So whenever you try to create an Okta, a new user, there are 4 mandatory details. Okay, you have to give the first name, you have to give the last name, and you have to give the username. In case of Okta, will always be email. Okay, username. So these are the primary attributes that are needed always. Yeah, Pran, you can continue and create your account.
Yeah, let me check the ID over here.
Yeah, Subkar and Ravi, I have one query. Every time we need to add a user manually at SP side, or it will automatically provisioned.
So if you have, you can go through the previous video, right?
Yeah.
Usually there is a database that is maintained anyways on the SP side. Okay. So
Okay.
they will either already have a, so just to go back to the history a little bit, every application earlier had some way of authenticating users. Okay, for example, you log into an app before single sign-on and all of that came into picture. There are already users on the application side, and they are authenticating using the application's internal authentication system, right?
Yeah.
Now, when we say a new authentication system has been introduced, the only thing is they will decouple their authentication system and say from a standardized perspective, from a compliance perspective, from a management perspective, centralization of system perspective, everyone moved towards using that centralized IAM system. But user that was there on the application never changed. They are always there. So now instead of using those users for authenticating, they are using it for validating. For example, you log in, you go to Okta, you put your username and password, complete the authentication. That is where the IDP system has completed the authentication.
Yes.
Now they will send that data across to the application, which is the service provider. The role of service provider is simple. Receive the data in the form of assertion, check the user values, and match that against the database that was already there. If the user matches, then grant them access based on the roles and privileges.
No,
that
before
they
that, how that SP will get?
SP already has that data. In one case, SP will already have. Second
IDP
case,
will provide the data?
sorry, who?
IDP?
No, IDP will never provide any data.
Then how will they will get those data?
That's what. So this was the case where
I'm missing.
IDP SP was already using an application and they had the data. Now let's go back how they got the data. Now, have you heard about systems called Workday?
Yeah,
The SaaS
Workday,
system?
exactly. Third party,
So,
yeah. Payroll.
Payroll is the main source of truth here. They have all the data. So that is one source in which they can do a sync. Second source is Active Directory, from where they can do a sync. Third, there could be a manual process in which they will let users, for example, they have nothing in the app. They will publish the app. And for example, you log into Facebook, right? Imagine, did Facebook administrator create your account or you created?
I will. I am
So
only
that is
creating.
how they will leave
Okay.
this update and then
I
the
thought the
moment people are
organization going to
creating their
provide the
profile,
data. Okay.
yeah, these are the different ways. Either you can do a data dump from Workday AD, or if you have external users also whose data you cannot find in AD and Workday, in that case, you can let them create their own IDs through profile creation. They will go log in, create their profile, and automatically all the user will get stored on the database. These are the different process.
Got it.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, Pranay, assign the application and let's try our SSO again.
Yes, Shubhankar.
Let's open a new incognito tab. Close this, close the entire tab and everything. No, close everything. Close the entire tab, open a new incognito. Open new incognito. The session remains, so you will get the error. Log in as the user that you created, okay? That Sam or Pranay, whatever user you created, log in with that. Remove that slash app. Yes. You remember the password for that user? Go back.
I remember the password, but I forgot the thing.
721. The password. There's no account with the username. Check the status of the user. Is it what is the status for that user? Go to people. It is active.
Okay, let me use this one.
But you are using the email address. See, it is ask me identity, and over here, there you are using mailing. The two different.
It was showing me that that's one.
And I think we are going to get the same error again because on the Salesforce side, the email address is different. So but still, let's try.
Okay.
Yeah, because the email address for the user is different. Okay, Pranay. So that is the reason we are getting this error. If you go to Salesforce, yeah, if you go to Salesforce, okay,
yeah,
go to open the SAML assertion validator. Go to search for single sign-on. Click on SAML assertion validator. Unable to map. So what this SAML assertion validator does is it does a test if your SAML connection is successful or not. Is it working fine or not? If there are any errors or any issues, it will be shown in the SAML assertion validator. So here we see there is a issue with the subject that is mapped. So unable to map the subject to a Salesforce user. So either the subject that we are sending does not exist, or the username that we are using, the email address, that is different, because of which this error is happening. As I said, whenever you're trying to set up a Salesforce account and whenever you're trying to do a SSO, please make sure, because we are not using provisioning right now. Okay, if we had used provisioning, then we would have not faced this error. Okay. So if you're trying to set up a Salesforce account, please make sure on the Okta side, you're using the same email address. Okay. Any questions?
You mean is it in a subject ID?
Yeah, the subject that we are sending, the email address. Okay, the email address for the user that is there in Salesforce, and the one on
Yeah, but depend on the side. Huh? They need to request whether they have to send
I'm not
as a
sure.
user ID or email address. Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Shubhankar, It's taking the subject. The error is on the audience URL.
Audience in the
Maybe
session.
something like a audience
Yeah, yeah.
entity ID error.
One moment.
In the audience URL. Yeah.
Did not match the allowed audiences. So go back to the single sign-on settings. So this will be a Salesforce issue, but as I said, if the Salesforce admin does not have idea on what to do, we'll have to step up and help them out. So,
Shubhankar, let me try this one. I tried fixing this issue for the audience. There was some custom domain error.
custom domain, then the entire we might have to add
Yeah, we
entire
have to add till develop till here.
Yeah. till here.
Let me try because I have fixed this issue earlier.
General
So this works.
applications.
Yeah.
General. See.
Hope this works.
Do the SAML assertion validator again. That should help.
Yeah.
SAML assertion validator. Again, that is the same error. Unmatch the allowed audience. Assertion. It has something to do with the ACS URL or something. I've shared something to you, Pranay. Okay, you can check. That article should help.
Sure.
You can open this article.
On the chat.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat. It is related to the.
Just put it in the chat.
It is related to the entity ID. So maybe we are.
Yeah, that's what I told earlier. Actually, open in mobile, not able to see properly.
That is. Pranay, did you change the settings? Develop production.
No, where Shubhankar?
Did you change the settings?
No, just I changed it over here. This one. I just changed this.
Yes. Save it.
Is it working for anyone? Anyone trying parallelly?
No, actually, I previously tried for Okta.
Okay.
The same error it coming, and when I checked with one of a few members, they said the SSO is disabled.
It is no SSO is enabled. Okay, it is on the application side that there is a problem.
From the Salesforce, the
Hmm.
SSO is option not getting because of many users are trying for that. Like that, I heard that.
No, can you try now? Remove the HTTPS from the domain and then try now.
It will always used to show contact
This should
Salesforce
stop.
administrator like that.
Okay.
Save and try now.
Not pretty sure. That's the statement I got from one of my friends.
Okay. That is helpful, Pawan. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Salesforce admins, I mean, itself would be us only because we have all the admin privileges. Yes.
Need to
vendor.
the Salesforce vendor.
Yeah, now it's working. I think, right?
Yeah, I think it's working.
Yeah, now it's working. Yes. So it was the domain. We were making some issues with the domain. So now let's try the SSO.
Okay.
Close everything and start in the
Now we
new.
can start from there. No? Okay. Let me just clear the SAML.
Clear. Close this. Try in a new incognito tab. Close everything. Copy.
I think you can take SAML response and compare with SP configuration. It will help.
No, I think we have solved the issue. It was just because of.
Okay. Then fine.
Incognito. Try to do an SSO.
Is the custom domain mandatory to be added
Yes.
in IDP setting?
Yes. Scroll up,
Everything looks
Pran.
fine.
This looks fine.
Yeah.
Are you passing the email address, Pran, in the assertion? Can you check?
Yes.
Subject it is. And are you sure this is the right SAML one? Because the ID is same. The ID is the correct ID. What are we getting for this one?
Issuer match, response issuer.
Okay, this is different.
Is this one? This is one.
No, it is pointing to a different Okta instance. This is a. This has to do something on the SP side. Can you check what is the detail being passed in the SAML assertion?
Let me check. This is one.
No, go back, go to check the assertion. What are the details being sent?
Delete this one. Shall I delete this one?
No, don't. Yeah, delete the one that you're not using.
Okay, this is for dev 3.5.
Okay.
I'm just
now do a SAML assertion validator.
Yeah. Yeah, everything looks fine.
Yeah, everything looks fine. Confirming issuer matches, signature, everything is fine. Then, did anyone?
I had tried few days back, not parallelly, but it worked for me. Can you check the application username? Is it updated? Because first time You got an error, right?
No, but if the username was not updated, the SAML assertion validator should have shown some error, something. If the SAML assertion validator is not showing error, that means the assertion is happening, the authentication is happening successfully, and the details, whatever details are needed as part of the subject, are being sent. Go to the sign on tab. Go to the sign on tab.
Shivankar, authentication, everything it will done, but only the single sign-on will not happen at Salesforce.
The username, application username format. What is the username, Pranay, for this user? Check. No, on the Salesforce side, and is SSO enabled? That is also one thing. SAML enabled.
This is the user. This is the user.
Pranay
I'm going to make some changes over here.
Change the profile, see if that works. Email. Again, why two? See, the email is mailinator.com and below its username is ask me identity. Can you change that? There are two different emails.
Which one?
See, at the
Shall I
top,
change the email?
Email is mailinator.com and your username is askmeidentity.com. So two are different. You have to make it same. Either use mailinator or ask me identity.
Can I use ask me?
Ask me identity.
Duplicate username. Already.
Again, it is the issue is with the username. Okay. So since the username was sam something at askmeidentity.com and the email that was verified was having a mailinator.com, because of that, we were not able to sign on. There are two different attributes for the same user, two different email address values.
Shall I change this?
Try to change either, like change, you have to change one of them. Okay. Either ask me identity or the mailinator, because you cannot have two different values for username and email. It should be the same.
Right.
Save.
No, it's not. Email and username.
So this is
Can
for
I change this on the Okta side?
No, but again over here you have two different things, right? You have a ask me identity and a mailinator. That will not work.
Let me check for this.
So again, as I said, if anyone else is trying, make sure your username, email on the Salesforce side remains consistent, or else you'll run into this problem.
We are anyways towards the end of our session.
We can use this user as a bunker.
Sorry, come again.
Users
Yeah, try that.
B1.
Yeah, we can
I'll
try that.
this one.
Shubhankar, you can drop off maybe in a couple of minutes. I'll be here for another 5-10 minutes. And then if this does not work, we'll anyways continue. But again, people who are able to do it successfully, we can discuss that tomorrow. If there are any errors, again, we can pick that up in tomorrow's discussion. Okay, but yeah, Pranay, try it out once. See if it works now. If not, we'll circle back again. For this week, we have. Okay, Shubhankar, thank you. Shubhankar.
Yeah, thank you all. Bye.
One. Sign applications. Salesforce.
Authentication is failing, right? It was failing. The redirection is working fine. Call back home, done. Okay.
Yeah. Let me SAML this up.
You should be in now.
Yeah.
Because the assertion generated on the right side. Okay. Grandfather is waiting.
So we have the
Okay.
subject user.
That is the SAML subject.
SAML system.
That is the SAML subject, guys. Okay. You're talking about the unique identifier tagging both the users on either side. Fine. So with this, again, looking at the time, even I have a meeting now. So I think this session was helpful, and I would request everyone to just go ahead and try this out. And I will be putting all the day 3, 4, 5, 6 videos on our main community page for people to refer. Just go understand, basics are all covered there. And after that, we started these sessions. So cover those also, and so that you guys will be familiar with what we are going to do in the coming sessions. So tomorrow there'll be another session for this week. There'll be just 3 sessions a week. And next week it was usually on a weekend and 1 session on a weekday, but I have a travel plan this weekend, hence I've moved this. So tomorrow we'll try to set up another application, but please try to cover this Salesforce and the other test application. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah, there was an issue with the email ID, because there were 2 email IDs that is totally different.
yeah, the name ID, the subject was mismatched. So these, where are you? Yeah, this is also one of the use case or some errors that you were talking.
So what was the issue,
So
Ravi?
SAML subject was missing. The SAML subject that was configured on the Salesforce versus SAML subject that Okta was sending was a mismatch.
Okay.
Okay, and then again, just first name, last name, and all does not matter. The subject that you have configured. If the subject is email, that subject should be same on both the side. You cannot create a user with a different subject on Salesforce and different on Okta and then integrate the process and allow them. It won't match. Okay, so that was the main problem here. Most of the time, these are the few things. And in one of the recorded session, I've also discussed about the different issues that we can get. Thanks to Ridish for asking those questions. Around 10 to 15 issues we have discussed in the previous sessions. I'll put all the recordings, go out, cover those, and then make sure that you have that base clear, and these sessions will be very meaningful from there. Out, please.
Ravi, like we log in into a Okta, and then we would click on the Salesforce application to redirect directly to a Salesforce.
Yes,
But
and now
I just enter the URL for a Salesforce application, and it will be re-triggered to me to a
Okta.
Okta page.
Yes, that also works. That is SP initiated, provided you have configured SP initiated, only then it will work. If you have not configured SP initiated flow, which is also something that we have covered in our previous sessions, like what is IDP and what is SP, okay, then only it will work.
Okay.
So what we did now was IDP initiated flow, because Salesforce supports, Okta supports, we configure it. But there is another flow, SP initiated flow, that you have to configure for you to log into any SP and then SP to redirect you back to the IDP.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you, Ravi, for arranging such knowledgeable sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Guys, go out, learn, enjoy. And yeah, the video is released, the career roadmap. A lot of people had asked me about it. So please go check it out, comment, okay, so that people also start getting engaged there on the video. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, take care. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Ravi.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, Ravi. Bye bye.